for education, who believed that education can help change lives in poor communities. And so I was able to come up with a board of directors, and I would like to point out here that one of them is today's cameraman. Adam works at Yahoo and is the secretary of the foundation. So it's people like Adam and others who have really helped me start to put that dream into practice. The foundation is incorporated here in California. We got a lot of assistance from a group of attorneys, from 3 attorneys. Initially they were working in Morgan Lewis, but have now moved to Reed Smith. They give us professional legal advice, and so we are sure we are working within the agreed US laws. And so the foundation is based here in California, but it works together with a committee back in Korea, which coordinates our activities, so that they are in a way our eye on the ground. They determine, identify the students to sponsor, and then of course there is a lot of communication back and forth. Our main goals are currently to give scholarships to the poor, bright kids who cannot be able to pay their way into school. But we also realize that we want these kids, and especially when you consider the conditions in the community, we want them guided, we want them counseled. I mean, I went to school, I didn't know what I wanted to become. I was simply passing one grade and moving ahead. I didn't even know what to do after college. What happened is that after college, the department told me, okay, we want you to remain here on staff development. Okay, so I remained. I had no idea. So, at this time, the year 2009, at least our students should be able to have a clearer sense of what they can do, how they can do it. And so we want a situation whereby they can get some mentorship, they can be guided. And another aspect which is not very common in Kenya is a sense of community service. And so we want them also to know what it means to work and give back to the community. Ultimately, our ultimate goal is to be able to build a school or schools, because we currently sponsor them to go to school, but we have very little control over what happens in those schools. But if you have a school, then you have control over, let's say, the number of students in the classroom. You have a control over the quality of teaching and several other issues. So in the long run, that is where we want to go. So from those goals, we have these programs that we shall be working on, but the other programs have not started. The program that has started is the first one, offering scholarships, as we shall see. However, I'll just mention, I'll show you the kind of facilities we have to just give you an idea why we think that it's important also to try and improve the existing infrastructure in the schools in Korea. Now, this school has some, I have a lot of attachment to this school because this is where I did my high school, my O-level, the 4 years of secondary education. And this is, surprisingly, it has not changed because it was like this when I left in '85, and it is the same. So you know that it's something that pains one, because you would expect that the local authorities, the national authorities would see the need to work on such facilities. And so that is all that we have as a washing area. You know, those rooms there, I don't know whether you can be able to see them, with nothing at the top of the roof, are where students take their showers. We used to use them. That is still the situation. Now, that is not enough because for all the students, and as a result, students have to go to the river nearby, where the school tried to put this up at the river. So, because you can imagine a school of 400 students, they're not going to be able to take a shower in water is short. So a number of them walk to the nearby river, and here you will also have ladies who have come for water. So what you do, when you are close by, you shout, to indicate, so that if somebody is taking a shower, then they can take cover somehow. Then you pass, Now, that is another spot next by where some students go. Now, this luckily happens to be in my piece of land. And so since I was a student there, I understand I don't chase them from that place. But I can imagine if it was elsewhere, because that's private property. Students have no business coming to take a shower in the open on my property. But I did it, I understand why they're doing it, so I allow them to do it. Okay. Now this is another school. This is a school, a boarding school, which has 408 boys and girls. And this is the kitchen where food for those 400 is cooked from. Because it's a boarding school, they stay there for 3 months before going home. Another view of the kitchen. So that is the idea of a kitchen for a high school. Now inside the kitchen, these are the lucky 2 cooks. Now the same school, this is the library. The library is basically a 12, maybe 12 or 10 by 12 room. Of course, one side is the entrance door, and then there is the window. So basically, we are talking about 2 walls with books, and that is a library of a high school. Actually, as you can see here, these are basically several copies of the same text. So, which means those are all the books that the students have to deal with. This is the lab. So this is the teacher's station. That's where the teacher is now supposed to be mixing his chemicals, I suppose. And this is where the students, that's the workstation. So you can imagine somebody doing a national exam in these conditions, comparing with somebody in Alliance High School. Those of us who are from Kenya know what I'm talking about. And the exam is the same. So if this student fails, really, I don't think this student should be told he's a fool or she is a fool. But that is the situation. These pictures were taken by me last year. So it's something that is a true reflection of the situation currently. These are the toilets they had. So they have now moved from that to this, which is slightly better. Now, so for the school, that's what they use as their toilets. As you know, over there's a distinction between toilet and the bathroom. That is the classroom. So this is a high school classroom. Now the mentorship program, unfortunately, you will not be able to see this. What we did is that, because our first students went to school in February, but in April they were home for one of the vacations. So we organized for them to meet with our coordinating committee, and the meeting was actually on 25th of April. The reason being that we wanted to start talking to them about all these things we're talking about, community service, what does it mean and why. We wanted to talk to them about what is this LMEF, because these are kids who would not have been in school had it not been for what we are doing. And so we wanted them to understand the value and know that there are many others who deserved that opportunity. So they need to take that opportunity seriously and take their studies seriously. So they were told about the community service, the need for that. And when they come back for their next holidays in August, we want to be placing them in hospitals, churches, administrative centers, to have them do something for the community. We demand that, we require them to have 30 hours of community service a year to maintain their scholarship with us. Now scholarships, that is the program that is already operational. We now have 6 students that we are supporting in Kenyan high schools, 3 girls and 3 boys. 5 of them attend school in Kuria district itself. 1 goes to a school near Nakuru. And then we support 2 students who go to Daraja Academy in Nanyuki. Daraja is another, it's a school run by another organization in California. I happen to be on the board of that organization. So they offered 2 scholarships, and the LMEF is paying their transportation costs to school. They don't have to pay any tuition.